Greetings. Today we're going to discuss neutralization reactions. So a neutralization reaction implies that two substances come together to form a neutral substance, pH 7. Well, that's sometimes the case, but it's not always totally true. But it is true that a hydrogen and a hydroxide ion come together to form water. That is always true. All right, so you already know how to classify reactions. You have already done a lot of practice problems, and you have classified reactions into 5 basic groups. One of the 5 basic groups that you classified them in is double displacement reactions. Double displacement reactions can be of several types. One of the types is a neutralization reaction, also called acid-base reaction. Why? Because we take an acid and a base and we form a salt and water. Well, let's review for a second what a salt means. So what do we mean by this? We start out with an acid and a base, and when the reaction is completed, we end up with a salt and water. And this is very important because we produce water where there was no water before. And how does this happen? Well, because acid has a hydrogen ion or hydronium ion, and the bases have hydroxide ions. When they come together, H plus ions and hydroxide ions will form HOH. In other words, the salt forms from the anion from the acid and the cation from the base, forming a salt. And what do we mean by salt? Any ionic compound, any cation in combination with an anion. That is a salt. Most people think table salt, but that is one type of salt, but it's not the only type of salt. All right, so let's move on. We did a little quick review of acids and bases. So we know that sulfuric acid is SO4. Hydrochloric acid, a binary acid, HCl. Nitric acid, ic. Nitric came from 8. So the nitrate ion, HNO3. Nitrous came from ite, HNO2. Notice that all of these have hydrogen ions. And then we have the metallic hydroxides, which are a metal and a hydroxide. All of these are bases. Calcium hydroxide. We have plus 2, negative 1, so therefore that's how it's written. Sodium hydroxide, Na plus 1. Plus hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, KOH, plus 1, negative 1, and ammonium. This is not a metallic hydroxide, but nevertheless it is a base, and ammonium hydroxide, plus 1, negative 1. All right, so there's a little quick review of, notice that all of these have the OH ion, the OH anion, and all of these contain hydrogen. Let's predict some products. You're going to be able to do this. All right, so we start out with HCl plus CaOH. This is where you have to know your charges. Look at the periodic table. This is plus 2. So therefore, that's our formula. And now it's a double replacement reaction, so the positive ion here goes with the negative ion. Do not Do not transfer over the subscripts. You do not need to do that. It's incorrect if you do. And then we have the negative ion and positive ions. So we're going to put these two together, and we're going to put these two together. But remember, the positive ion has to always go first, and so we're going to write Ca, Cl, but we have to balance it out. So calcium is +2 and Cl is -1, so therefore it becomes CaCl2 plus HOH, the hydrogen ion from the acid, combines with the hydroxide ion from the base, forming HOH or H2O. It can be written either way. All right, so the next one, nitric acid. So we have nitric acid, HNO3, plus, again, we're going to use calcium hydroxide. These two will combine, and these two will combine. So remember the AB plus CD reaction, where it combines AD plus CB. So we're going to rewrite that. Calcium, NO3, but calcium is a +2, so it will look like this, plus HOH, which is the same as H2O. It's another neutralization reaction, also called acid-base reaction. And finally, let's write hydrobromic acid. This is a binary acid, no oxygen here. So it goes H bromic, Br, +1, -1, plus, I use the same, let's try another base here. Let's try potassium. So I'm going to change this to potassium. So KOH, and again H with OH, K with Br, K Br plus HOH or H2O. Okay, any questions you have, we can answer those in class. And that's basically it for neutralization reactions. Acid plus a base yields a salt plus water. Does it always produce a pH substance of 7? Not necessarily, but that's a lesson for another day. Now it's your turn. I want you to take a moment, write these reactions, and predict the products of these neutralization reactions, also called acid-base reactions. Have a wonderful day.